In the rolling hills of rural Georgia, where the red clay soil whispered secrets of generations past, Marcus Hale stood as a testament to unyielding determination. At 45, Marcus had clawed his way from the shadows of urban struggle to claim a piece of earth that was rightfully his. Born in the bustling streets of Atlanta, he had grown up in a cramped apartment, watching his single mother juggle two jobs just to keep the lights on. From a young age, Marcus dreamed of open spaces, of soil under his fingernails instead of concrete under his feet. He joined the local police force right out of high school, rising through the ranks with a quiet intensity that earned him respect from colleagues and fear from criminals. But law enforcement was only part of his story deep down. He yearned for a legacy beyond the badge of farm that would feed his soul and his community. After 2 decades on the force, Marcus had saved every penny, skipping vacations and overtime, bonuses to fund his vision. He purchased 20 acres on the outskirts of Willow Creek, a sleepy suburb where manicured lawns and picket fences defined the American dream. For its residents, the land was zoned agricultural, a rare gem amidst the encroaching developments, and Marcus transformed it into Hale Haven Farm. Rows of vibrant vegetables, tomatoes, collard greens, and sweet corn stretched toward the horizon, flanked by a modest greenhouse and a weathered wooden barn painted in deep crimson. Chickens clucked contentedly in their coop, and a small herd of goats grazed lazily under the shade of ancient oaks. To Marcus, this wasn't just property, it was redemption. A place where he could teach his teenage son, Jamal, the value of hard work and self-reliance. But not everyone shared his enthusiasm. Enter Evelyn Thorpe, the iron-fisted president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association. At 58, Evelyn was a widow who had inherited her role like a crown, ruling with a blend of Southern charm and unyielding authority. Her home, a pristine colonial with immaculate flower beds, sat directly across from Marcus's farm entrance. From her wraparound porch, she sipped sweet tea and surveyed her domain. Clipboard always at the ready, Evelyn prided herself on maintaining standards: no unsightly decorations, no loud parties, and certainly no farms that disrupted the suburban serenity. The moment Marcus's moving truck rumbled down the dirt road, she sensed a threat to her carefully curated world. It started subtly. On his second day, as Marcus unloaded crates of seedlings under the sweltering sun, he noticed Evelyn watching. From her porch, her lips pursed in disapproval. He waved politely, but she turned away without acknowledgement. Marcus shrugged it off. He was used to skepticism. As a black man in law enforcement, he'd faced worse stares in precinct meetings, assumptions on the streets. But he believed in bridges, not walls. That evening, he baked a batch of cornbread from his mother's recipe and walked over to introduce himself. "Evening, ma'am," Marcus said, extending the warm loaf wrapped in foil. "I'm Marcus Hale, your new neighbor. Thought I'd bring a little welcome gift." Evelyn eyed the offering like it was laced with poison. "Mr. Hale," she replied coolly, not taking it. "I'm Evelyn Thorpe, HOA president. I must say, your setup is quite unconventional for Willow Creek. We have guidelines here, visual harmony. You understand." Marcus kept his smile steady. "Appreciate the heads up, but my land's outside HOA bounds. County confirmed it, agricultural zoning all the way." Her eyes narrowed, a flicker of annoyance crossing her face. "Zoning or not, appearances matter. That barn of yours sticks out like a sore thumb. And the animals? The noise could disturb families." "I'll keep things quiet," Marcus assured her, placing the cornbread on her porch rail. "Good night, ma'am." As he walked back, he felt her gaze boring into his back. Evelyn wasn't used to being dismissed. In her mind, Willow Creek was her kingdom, and outsiders, especially those who didn't fit her mold, needed to conform or leave. She spent that night poring over HOA bylaws, searching for loopholes. By morning, she'd rallied a few allies via email, concerned about the new farm on Elm Road. Potential eyesore, let's discuss at the next meeting. Weeks passed, and Marcus threw himself into his work. He rose before dawn, tending crops with the precision of a surgeon. Jamal helped on weekends, learning to drive the old tractor Marcus had restored. The farm wasn't just about produce. Marcus planned community workshops teaching kids about sustainable farming, donating surplus to local food banks. It was his way of giving back, of turning pain into purpose. But Evelyn's scrutiny intensified. She'd drive by slowly in her silver sedan, jotting notes. Anonymous complaints appeared in his mailbox. "This isn't a barnyard, clean it up." Marcus ignored them, focusing on the positives. His first harvest yielded bountiful crates, sold at the farmer's market where locals praised his organic greens. One afternoon, as Marcus repaired a fence post, Evelyn approached, heels sinking into the soft earth. "Mr. Hale, we need to talk about your equipment. It's cluttering the view and devaluing properties." Marcus wiped sweat from his brow, his muscular frame casting a long shadow. "Miss Thorpe, I've got permits for everything. This land feeds people, it's not clutter." She huffed, clutching her pearl necklace. "Feeding people. This is a residential area, not some backwoods operation. If you won't comply, I'll have to escalate." "Escalate how?" Marcus asked, his voice even but edged with curiosity. "You'll see," she snapped, turning on her heel. That evening, Marcus sat on his porch with Jamal, watching fireflies dance. "Dad, why's that lady so mad?" Jamal asked. "Some folks fear what they don't understand, son," Marcus replied. "But we stand tall no matter what." Deep down, Marcus sensed a storm brewing. He'd faced prejudice before patrols where his badge didn't shield him from suspicion. But this was his home, his dream. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, he whispered a prayer for strength. Little did he know, Evelyn's escalation would test not just his patience, but the very fabric of the community. The harassment didn't stop at words. Evelyn organized a petition, knocking on doors with tales of declining standards. Some neighbors signed reluctantly, others refused, whispering support for Marcus's fresh produce. Carl Jenkins, a retired veteran down the road, pulled Marcus aside at the market. "Watch your back, son. Evelyn's got a bee in her bonnet. She's selective about who she welcomes." Marcus nodded, but the weight settled heavier. Nights brought vandalism, tipped over planters, graffiti on his barn. "Go back to the city." He reported it to the station, but without proof. It went unsolved. Still, Marcus persevered, hosting his first workshop where kids planted seeds and learned about resilience. "Like these plants," he told them, "we grow through the dirt." Evelyn fumed from afar, her power challenged. At the HOA meeting, she railed against the intrusion, but Marcus attended, speaking calmly. "I'm not here to fight, I'm here to build. Let's find common ground." As the Georgia summer deepened, so did the rift between Marcus Hale and Evelyn Thorpe. Marcus's farm flourished, with sunflowers blooming tall and bees humming busily among the blooms. He expanded his operations slightly, adding beehives for honey production, a nod to sustainable practices that drew praise from environmental groups. Jamal thrived too, earning pocket money by selling jars of Hale Haven honey at school events. Marcus felt a swell of pride. This was the life he'd envisioned, one where hard work yielded tangible rewards and inspired the next generation. But Evelyn's campaign intensified, morphing from passive aggression to calculated sabotage. She flooded the county office with complaints, citing nuisance odors from the compost and visual pollution from the beehives. Officials investigated, but each time, Marcus's permits held firm. "Everything's in order," an inspector told him, shaking his head at Evelyn's persistence. Undeterred, Evelyn turned to social pressure. She hosted neighborhood teas where she'd lament the decline of Willow Creek, painting Marcus as an outsider, disrupting harmony. "He's turning our suburb into a petting zoo," she'd say, her voice dripping with feigned concern. Some neighbors nodded along, fearful of her wrath, while others defended Marcus privately. Sharon Ellis, a young mother next door, brought her kids to the farm for eggs and whispered, "Don't let her get to you. We need more like you here." Marcus appreciated the support, but the isolation gnawed at him. Late nights, after Jamal was asleep, he'd patrol his land with a flashlight, checking for intruders. One dawn, he discovered slashed tires on his tractor, clear vandalism. He fixed it himself, refusing to let it derail him, but the incident fueled his resolve. "They can slash tires, but they can't slash spirit," he told Jamal over breakfast. Evelyn's Next move was bolder. She erected a sign on her property line, "Preserve Willow Creek, say no to farms." It faced Marcus's entrance, a constant taunt. Passers-by honked in confusion, and local news picked up the story as a quirky neighborhood feud. Marcus declined interviews, focusing instead on community outreach. He donated honey to the local shelter and hosted free gardening classes, drawing diverse crowds that Evelyn viewed as a threat. At one such class, as Marcus demonstrated pollination, Evelyn stormed in uninvited. "This is absurd," she declared, arms crossed. "You're luring people here under false pretenses. This land should be developed properly." Marcus paused, addressing the group. "Folks, farming isn't about division, it's about growth. We're all part of this earth." The attendees applauded, but Evelyn seethed, retreating with mutters of "You'll regret this." That night, Marcus received an anonymous text, "Leave or else." He traced it futilely, but it stirred memories of his police days, threats from gangs, racial slurs on calls. "I've faced worse," he reminded himself, but the farm was his sanctuary. Now tainted, escalation peaked at the annual Willow Creek barbecue. Marcus set up a booth with fresh veggies, drawing lines. Evelyn, manning a hoa table, glared. When a family praised his corn, she interjected, "Enjoy it while it lasts. Changes are coming." Marcus confronted her privately. "Miss Thorpe, why the vendetta? I've done nothing to you." Her eyes flashed. "You don't belong. This community has standards, and your farm lowers them." The words hung heavy, echoing prejudices Marcus knew too well. He walked away, channeling anger into action, expanding his workshops to include youth mentorship, teaching resilience through farming metaphors. As tensions simmered, Carl warned him, "She's talking about calling authorities. Says you're squatting." Marcus laughed bitterly. "Let her. Truth will out." But Evelyn plotted, gathering evidence, photos of beehives, notes on noise. Her obsession grew, isolating her from moderate neighbors. Sharon confided, "She's losing allies. People see your good work." Autumn brought crisp winds to Willow Creek, but the chill between Marcus and Evelyn was far colder. Hale Haven Farm burst with harvest colors, pumpkins swelling orange, apples ripening red. Marcus hosted a fall festival, inviting the community for hayrides and cider. Families flocked, kids laughing as they picked produce, a stark contrast to Evelyn's sterile gatherings. The event raised funds for local schools, cementing Marcus's role as a pillar. Evelyn watched from her porch, fury building. Her petitions failed. More neighbors sided with Marcus, appreciating his contributions. Desperate, she amped up tactics, fake reviews online calling the farm unsanitary, anonymous calls to animal control alleging neglect. Inspections cleared him each time, but the hassle drained energy. One evening, as Marcus unloaded hay bales, Evelyn confronted him again. "Your little festival, a distraction. I'll shut you down." Marcus met her gaze. "Why fight progress? Join us, learn something new." She scoffed. "I don't need lessons from you." The exchange fueled her resolve. She rallied a small clique, planning a protest at his gate. Signs read "Farms out families," and a dozen showed, chanting mildly. Marcus offered them cider, diffusing tension. Media covered it positively. Farmer turns feud into fellowship. Humiliated, Evelyn retreated. But venom festered. She dug into Marcus's past, discovering his police career via public records, twisting it. She spread rumors. "He's hiding something. Why leave the force for this?" Whispers reached Marcus via Jamal. "Dad, kids say you're a cop dropout." Marcus sat him down. "Son, I served proudly, but this farm is my calling. Rumors can't touch. Truth." Inspired, Jamal helped more, strengthening their bond. Marcus expanded mentorship, sharing stories of overcoming adversity, from patrolling dangerous beats to planting seeds of change. As Halloween neared, vandalism spiked, smashed pumpkins, poisoned feed caught early. Marcus installed cameras, capturing blurry figures. He reported it, but Evelyn's alibi held. At a town hall, Evelyn spoke. "This farm endangers our way of life. We demand action." Marcus responded eloquently. "My farm builds community. Let's unite, not divide." Applause drowned her out, but she vowed privately, "He'll pay." Thanksgiving approached with Marcus donating turkeys to needy families. Evelyn, alone in her echo chamber, plotted her final blow, a 911 call framing him as a threat. Unbeknownst to her, the twist awaited. Winter's edge nipped at Willow Creek as Marcus prepared for the holidays. Stringing lights on his barn, the farm stood resilient, a symbol of triumph over trials. Evelyn, isolated by her obsession, made her move on a crisp Saturday dot as Marcus unloaded supplies. Evelyn stormed over. "This ends now. Your junk violates everything." Marcus sighed. "Miss Thorpe, let's talk reasonably." She dialed 911 dramatically. "There's a trespasser. He's aggressive. Send help." Neighbors gathered, murmuring. Sirens wailed. Deputies arrived, colleagues of Marcus's. "Officers," Evelyn cried. "Arrest him, he's squatting." Deputy Ramirez recognized Marcus. "Captain Hale, what's going on?" Evelyn froze. Marcus pulled his badge, retired, but still licensed. "This is my land." Gasps rippled. Ramirez chuckled. "Mum. False reports are serious." Evelyn stammered, jaw dropping. Neighbors confronted her. "You've gone too far." Humiliated, Evelyn retreated. Marcus addressed the crowd. "This badge protected me, but my farm heals. Let's build together." The community rallied, boycotting Evelyn's hoe. She resigned, reflecting on her biases. Marcus's farm thrived, workshops inspiring change. He mentored Evelyn indirectly, fostering forgiveness.